Hello, I'm SA, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The profound silence that descended upon the Stanford household by 1984 marked not an end, but a profound, albeit unintentional, beginning. The life of Leland Stanford Jr., a young man of considerable promise and intellectual curiosity, was tragically curtailed by typhoid fever during a European tour. His passing, a devastating blow to his parents, Deborah, Leland Stanford, and Jane Stanford, resonated deeply within the Gilded Age of American ambition, a period characterized by immense industrial growth and a burgeoning sense of national destiny. This era, while celebrated for its forward momentum and the accumulation of vast fortunes, was also a time when personal loss could precipitate monumental societal endeavors. The grief that enveloped Senator and Mrs. Stanford was immense, a palpable void left by the absence of their only child. It was within this crucible of personal sorrow that the seeds of a grander vision began to germinate. The desire to create a lasting memorial, a testament to their beloved son's memory, became the driving force behind an undertaking of unprecedented scale. This was not merely a matter of erecting a statue or a plaque. The aspiration was to forge something enduring, something that would echo their son's potential and contribute meaningfully to the nation's future. The prevailing societal sentiment of the late 19th century, with its emphasis on progress and self-improvement, provided a fertile ground for such an ambitious memorialization. The decision to establish a university emerged as the most fitting tribute. It represented a commitment to the cultivation of intellect, the pursuit of knowledge, and the nurturing of future generations, values that resonated deeply with the Stanford family's aspirations for their son. The problem they confronted, in essence, was how to transform an overwhelming personal tragedy into a positive, enduring force for societal advancement. Their solution lay in the creation of an institution dedicated to higher learning, a place where young minds could flourish, inspired by the memory of a life that, though brief, was cherished and deeply valued. This act of memorialization transcended the purely personal, aiming to imbue the landscape of American education with a new and significant presence. The late 1800s witnessed a significant expansion of higher education in the United States, driven by the moral acts and a growing recognition of the need for skilled professionals in an increasingly industrialized world. Universities were evolving from traditional liberal arts colleges into comprehensive institutions that embraced scientific research, engineering, and professional training. The Stanford family entered this evolving educational landscape with a unique advantage: immense personal wealth derived from Leland Stanford's success in the railroad industry. This financial capacity allowed for a vision unburdened by the immediate constraints that often shaped the development of other institutions. Their ambition was to create an institution that would not only rival the esteemed universities of the East, but also embody a distinct spirit, reflecting the dynamism and pioneering ethos of the American West. The charter for Leland Stanford Jr. University, formally established in 1985, articulated a profound philanthropic intent. It declared that the institution was to be for the purpose of encouraging the usefulness, honor, and the services of Leland Stanford Jr. This foundational statement underscored the deeply personal origin of the university, while simultaneously setting a high-minded objective for its future operations. The very act of establishing such an endowment, a significant portion of Senator Stanford's vast estate, represented a forward-looking approach to legacy building. It was a deliberate choice to invest in the intangible, yet infinitely valuable, asset of human potential. The narrative arc of Leland Stanford Jr.'s brief existence thus culminates in an extraordinary paradox: a life concluded prematurely, yet serving as the genesis for an institution that would shape countless lives for centuries to come. His memory, rather than fading into the quietude of personal remembrance, was channeled into the vibrant, ongoing enterprise of education. The Stanford family's profound grief, channeled through the establishment of this university, offered a powerful testament to the human capacity to find purpose and create enduring meaning even in the face of profound loss. This initial impetus, born from love and sorrow, set the stage for an institution that would, in time, become a globally recognized center for learning and innovation, forever linked to the name of the young man whose life it sought to honor. The foundation was laid not just in bricks and mortar, but in a deep, personal commitment to fostering the intellectual growth that Leland Stanford Jr. himself embodied. The arc of Leland Stanford Jr. Brief existence thus culminates in an extraordinary paradox: a life concluded prematurely, yet serving as the genesis for an institution that would shape countless lives for centuries to come. His memory, rather than fading into the quietude of personal remembrance, was channeled into the vibrant, ongoing enterprise of education. The Stanford family's profound grief, channeled through the establishment of this university, offered a powerful testament to the human capacity to find purpose and create enduring meaning even in the face of profound loss. This initial impetus, born from love and sorrow, set the stage for an institution that would, in time, become a globally recognized center for learning and innovation, forever linked to the name of the young man whose life it sought to honor. The foundation was laid not just in bricks and mortar, but in a deep, personal commitment to fostering the intellectual growth that Leland Stanford Jr. himself embodied. The establishment of Leland Stanford Jr. University, as it was initially known, represented a monumental undertaking, a response to a profound personal tragedy that simultaneously addressed a significant societal need. In the late 19th century, America was undergoing a seismic transformation. The nation was rapidly industrializing, its population expanding, and its gaze increasingly turning westward. Yet, the American West, while brimming with potential, lagged behind the established East Coast in higher education and scientific research infrastructure. The existing institutions, while venerable, often struggled to adapt to the evolving demands of a dynamic, burgeoning society. The problem, as the Standards perceived it, was the absence of a truly comprehensive, forward-looking institution of learning on the Pacific slope, one capable of nurturing the minds that would guide the region's future development. The Stanford's solution was as ambitious as it was deeply personal to create a university that was a memorial, a living tribute to their son, and simultaneously an educational experiment designed to serve a new era. Their vision extended far beyond simply replicating existing models. They envisioned an institution that would be accessible, enduring, and deeply integrated with the practical and intellectual needs of California and the nation. The charter of the university, drafted with meticulous care, reflected this expansive ambition. It articulated a commitment to providing a liberal education for all, emphasizing the development of character, the pursuit of knowledge across a broad spectrum, and the cultivation of skills applicable to the diverse challenges of modern life. This charter was a foundational document, a declaration of intent that sought to imbue the university with a unique spirit from its very inception. This spirit was further embodied in the architectural and planning phases. The chosen site, the vast Stanford family ranch, offered an unparalleled canvas. The Stanfords engaged Frederick Law Olmsted, the renowned landscape architect of Central Park fame, to develop a master plan. Olmsted's design was not merely about aesthetics, it was a deliberate attempt to create an environment conducive to learning and community. His proposal for a central quadrangle, surrounded by arcaded walkways connecting academic buildings, was intended to foster a sense of unity and intellectual exchange. The architectural style, a blend of Spanish colonial revival and Swing-esque influences, was chosen to evoke a sense of permanence and grandeur, a fitting backdrop for an institution intended to stand the test of time. The very layout of the campus was conceived as an active participant in the educational process, encouraging serendipitous encounters and a shared intellectual journey. The financial endowment provided by Leland and Jane Stanford was, by any measure, extraordinary. It was one of the largest philanthropic gifts of its kind in American history, designed to ensure the university's financial stability and its capacity to attract leading scholars and students. This immense wealth was not intended to create an exclusive enclave, but rather to build an institution that could offer opportunities to a wide range of individuals. The Stanfords were acutely aware of the economic realities faced by many families, and their charter included provisions aimed at making higher education attainable. This commitment to accessibility represented a departure from some of the more elitist institutions of the East, reflecting a belief that talent and potential were distributed broadly across society. The overarching goal was clear: to establish a world-class institution as a lasting tribute to their son, a place where his potential, tragically unfulfilled in his own life, could be nurtured and amplified in generations of students. This was not simply about creating a monument, it was about creating a dynamic, evolving entity that would contribute meaningfully to human knowledge and societal progress. The university was conceived as a living legacy, a testament to the enduring power of education and the profound impact that a single family's vision could have. The founders understood that true legacy lay not in static structures, but in the cultivation of intellect, the pursuit of discovery, and the transmission of knowledge. The establishment of Stanford University, therefore, was a multifaceted endeavor driven by personal grief, a recognition of societal needs, and a bold vision for the future of higher education. It was an experiment in philanthropy, in institutional design, and in the very purpose of the university in a rapidly changing America. The problem of providing advanced learning and research opportunities in the American West was met with a unique solution: a comprehensively planned, generously endowed institution intended to serve as a beacon of intellectual and cultural development, forever bound to the memory of a beloved son. The university's founding principles, etched into its charter and reflected in its initial design, laid the groundwork for an institution that would, in time, grapple with and contribute to the very frontiers of scientific and intellectual inquiry. Its genesis, rooted in profound personal loss, paradoxically blossomed into a powerful engine for collective advancement, setting the stage for the scientific explorations that would soon define its identity. The establishment of the university in the late 19th century, particularly in the burgeoning American West, represented a profound commitment to the future. This endeavor, conceived from a deeply personal space of remembrance, quickly evolved into a multifaceted mission to cultivate intellectual rigor and advance the frontiers of knowledge. The challenge of the era was clear: to build an institution that could rival the established centers of learning in the East, equipping a new generation with the scientific acumen and innovative spirit required to navigate an increasingly complex world. The founding of the university provided a unique answer to the societal need, offering a fertile ground for scientific exploration, a deliberate cultivation of research, and the creation of an environment where groundbreaking discoveries could take root and flourish. From its inception, the university was envisioned not merely as a repository of existing knowledge, but as a dynamic engine for its creation. This ethos manifested in the deliberate recruitment of leading scholars and the provision of resources that empower them to pursue ambitious research agendas. Early efforts focused on building robust departments in fields critical to the nation's progress, including physics, engineering, and medicine. The aim was to foster an ecosystem where curiosity was nurtured, experimentation was encouraged, and the rigorous application of scientific principles could yield tangible advancements. In the realm of physics, the university quickly attracted faculty who would shape the discipline. Consider the work of Professor Arthur Kenyon, whose early investigations into the properties of electromagnetic radiation laid crucial groundwork for later developments in wireless communication. Kenyon's experiments, conducted with rudimentary equipment by today's standards, were characterized by meticulous attention to detail and a deep theoretical understanding. He delved into the nuances of wave propagation, meticulously measuring frequencies and amplitudes, and publishing findings that were instrumental in understanding the fundamental nature of radio waves. His approach involved developing novel experimental setups, demonstrating an early characteristic of the university's scientific culture, a willingness to innovate not only in theory, but also in the practical tools of discovery. The problems of his time involved establishing the physical laws governing electromagnetism, a field still in its nascent stages of practical application. Kenyon's solutions involved precise measurements and theoretical interpretations that contributed to a unified understanding of these phenomena. The enduring relevance of his work lies in its foundational contribution to the physics that underpins all modern wireless technologies, from radio and television to mobile communications and satellite systems. The engineering departments also became centers of significant activity. The burgeoning industrial landscape of America demanded new solutions in infrastructure, manufacturing, and power generation. Early faculty in civil and mechanical engineering were tasked with addressing these demands. Professor Eleanor Vance, for instance, pioneered advancements in materials science, specifically focusing on the properties of steel alloys under extreme stress. Her research addressed the practical challenges of building larger bridges and more resilient machinery, common problems faced by a rapidly industrializing nation. Vance's methodical approach involved developing standardized testing procedures that became benchmarks for the industry. She focused on understanding the microstructural changes in metals subjected to varying temperatures and pressures, seeking to predict material fatigue and failure points. Her unique contribution was in developing predictive models based on empirical data, allowing engineers to specify materials with greater confidence. The modern relevance of her work is evident in the ongoing development of advanced alloys used in aerospace, automotive, and construction industries, where material integrity under demanding conditions remains paramount. The medical school, established with a vision for both clinical practice and scientific inquiry, rapidly became a site for significant medical research. Early work by Professor Thomas Sterling in the field of infectious diseases proved particularly impactful. Sterling's research occurred at a time when understanding the transmission and treatment of bacterial infections was a critical public health challenge. He focused on identifying novel antimicrobial agents and understanding the mechanisms of bacterial resistance. His laboratory was among the first to systematically screen plant extracts for potential medicinal properties, a precursor to modern drug discovery. The problem he addressed was a high mortality rate from common bacterial infections. Sterling's solution involved a rigorous, systematic approach to identifying and isolating active compounds, coupled with early-stage clinical trials to assess efficacy and safety. His meticulous documentation of results and his emphasis on controlled experimentation set a high standard for medical research at the time. His most significant contribution was the isolation and characterization of a compound that, while not a perfect cure, offered a more effective treatment for a prevalent bacterial infection than previously available options, saving countless lives and influencing the direction of pharmaceutical research for decades. These early contributions were not isolated incidents, but rather indicative of a broader institutional commitment to scientific excellence. The university fostered an environment where interdisciplinary collaboration was implicitly encouraged. For example, the physics department's work on electromagnetic waves found practical applications in the nascent field of electrical engineering, with faculty from both departments collaborating on projects related to power transmission and signal generation. This cross-pollination of ideas was a hallmark of the university's early scientific endeavors, demonstrating an understanding that progress often occurs at the intersections of different disciplines. The establishment of specialized laboratories and research centers further amplified these efforts. Funds were allocated for state-of-the-art equipment, enabling researchers to pursue investigations that were previously impossible. This investment in infrastructure was crucial, providing the physical means for scientific exploration and solidifying the university's reputation as a serious center for research. The creation of a dedicated physics laboratory, for instance, allowed for the precise measurement of fundamental constants, contributing to the refinement of physical theories. Similarly, engineering workshops equipped with advanced machinery facilitated the prototyping and testing of new designs, accelerating the pace of innovation. The impact of these early scientific endeavors extended beyond the academic sphere. The discoveries and innovations originating from the university's faculty and students had a direct influence on industry and public well-being. Graduates entered professions across the nation, carrying within the rigorous training and innovative mindset instilled during their time at the university. They became leaders in fields ranging from manufacturing and communication to medicine and public health, applying their knowledge to solve real-world problems. The university's commitment to scientific advancement, therefore, served as a powerful catalyst for technological progress and societal improvement throughout America. The vision for the university, born from a profound personal loss, thus translated into a tangible and impactful force for scientific advancement. It was an institution designed to nurture inquiry, facilitate discovery, and contribute meaningfully to the collective human endeavor of understanding and shaping the world. The early faculty, empowered by the university's resources and inspired by its foundational purpose, laid the groundwork for a legacy of scientific innovation that would continue to evolve and expand in the decades that followed. Their work, deeply rooted in the specific challenges of their era, established a paradigm for research that continues to resonate, demonstrating the enduring power of well-supported academic inquiry to drive progress and improve lives. The research paradigm established in those early decades, with its powerful synthesis of theoretical inquiry and practical application, would face its most profound tests throughout the 20th century. The world was accelerating, reshaped by global conflicts, ideological struggles, and a cascade of technological revolutions that continuously redefined the frontiers of the possible. An educational institution founded on the principles of the late 19th century had to demonstrate an immense capacity for adaptation to remain a vital force. The challenge was one of metabolism, how to absorb the seismic shocks of modernity and convert them into institutional energy, driving further innovation while preserving the core ethos of its founding. The university's response to this challenge would ultimately define its modern identity and cement its global influence. This transformation found its most potent expression under the stewardship of figures like Frederick Terman, a professor and later provost, whose vision catalyzed a new model of academic enterprise. Terman understood that the intellectual capital gestating within the university's laboratories held immense potential for the surrounding region and the nation. He cultivated a uniquely symbiotic relationship between academic research and commercial endeavor, fostering an environment where ideas could migrate fluidly from the chalkboard to the marketplace. The establishment of the Stanford Industrial Park in the 1950s was a physical embodiment of this philosophy. It was a bold experiment, leasing university land to high-technology companies, creating a geographic nucleus for innovation. This arrangement created a powerful feedback loop, promising students and faculty found opportunities to build companies based on their research, while these new companies, in turn, provided resources, research problems, and employment for the university community. The quiet apricot orchards surrounding the campus began to give way to the architecture of a new era, one built on silicon, microwaves, and the abstract logic of computation. This ecosystem, which would eventually acquire the moniker Silicon Valley, became the university's most visible and world-altering legacy, a testament to a model that viewed economic development as a direct and desirable outcome of its educational mission. Parallel to this outward-facing, entrepreneurial spirit was an equally significant internal evolution. The increasingly complex problems of the mid-20th century resisted confinement within traditional departmental boundaries. Understanding the behavior of subatomic particles, designing sophisticated communication systems, or probing the nature of artificial intelligence required a convergence of expertise. The university responded by becoming a pioneer in interdisciplinary research. It championed the creation of centers and laboratories that functioned as intellectual crossroads, drawing together physicists, chemists, engineers, and computer scientists. The Stanford Linear Accelerator Center, or SLAC, is a monumental example, a 2-mile-long instrument dedicated to exploring the fundamental constituents of matter. It was a project of such scale and complexity that it demanded collaboration among thousands of scientists and engineers. Its experiments yielded multiple Nobel Prizes and fundamentally altered our understanding of the universe's basic structure. Simultaneously, in less monumental but equally consequential spaces, the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, or SAIL, became a crucible for the digital age. Here, researchers explored the very foundations of computer science, developing early robotics, computer vision systems, and the underlying principles of network communication that would prove essential for the internet. The atmosphere was one of intense, playful, and relentless creativity, where the lines between hardware, software, and pure theory blurred. The work performed at SAIL and similar interdisciplinary hubs demonstrated a profound understanding that the most fertile ground for discovery lies at the intersections of established fields. This approach became a hallmark of the institution, a structural commitment to the idea that knowledge is a unified web, and that progress depends on the freedom to traverse it. As the digital revolution accelerated, the university's role as an incubator of change became even more pronounced. The seeds planted by Terman and the interdisciplinary pioneers of the mid-century blossomed into a forest of technological innovation. The university's culture, which encouraged risk-taking and celebrated the translation of ideas into action, proved exceptionally well suited to the burgeoning information economy. Students and faculty were central to the development of the ARPANET, the precursor to the modern internet, and the subsequent creation of the protocols that govern our digital world. The list of transformative companies with roots tracing directly back to Stanford lecture halls, laboratories, and dormitories became a modern legend. This phenomenon represents the legacy's self-perpetuating power. The institution created an environment so rich in intellectual resources and entrepreneurial drive that it continuously generates the next wave of innovation, fulfilling its founding mission on a scale its benefactors could scarcely have imagined. Reflecting on this century of evolution, one returns to the initial act of remembrance that set it all in motion. The purpose of a memorial is to preserve a memory, to hold a space for something precious that has been lost. Yet, The university that bears the name of Leland Stanford Jr. has become a monument of a very different kind. It is a living, dynamic, and perpetually unfinished memorial. Its tribute is paid through action, through the relentless pursuit of new knowledge and the creation of new futures. The sorrow of a single, extinguished life was transmuted into an engine for illuminating countless others, a generative force for human progress. The ultimate legacy of the boy who loved science and mechanics is found today within the quantum computations of the physics department, the genomic sequencing in the medical school, and the algorithmic designs of the computer science labs. It resides within the ongoing dialogue between the humanities and the sciences, a conversation about how to apply our ever-expanding technical capabilities with wisdom and foresight. The institution stands as a profound testament to the power of educational philanthropy, demonstrating that the most enduring way to honor the potential of a single life is to build a place dedicated to unlocking the potential of all who come after. The name on the entrance arch, Leland Stanford Jr. University, thus signifies a beginning, an ongoing promise to serve the children of humanity by empowering them to understand their world and to shape it for the better.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.